Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, June 14th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The soon-to-be implemented e-litigation portal for criminal proceedings in the High Court and Magistracy is anticipated to enhance efficiency and the administration of justice in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The launch of the new digital platform took place today, along with the introduction of the FTR text-to-speech system. Crown Counsel Richie Maitland outlined the timeliness and importance of the e-litigation portal.
On the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court website press release as a web-based online application that will provide court users and stakeholders with access to assigned services anytime, anywhere, and on any device, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops. The release goes on to say the e-litigation portal will serve as the platform to increase operational efficiency in the courts of the sub-region, directly resulting in reduction of operational costs while improving efficiency. This abundance of features and these benefits have become readily available to civil divisions in various courts and in the Court of Appeal with the maiden launch of the ELP. The launch of the second module facilitated and focused on the Family Court Civil Division. This third launch now embraces within the fold of digitized utility the criminal divisions of the High Court, the Family Court, and the Magistrates Court. Senior Magistrate Colin John emphasized the much-needed intervention of the e-litigation portal in the magistracy and the necessity to keep abreast with technological advancement.
We in the court system, we cannot allow ourselves to be extinct. We cannot allow ourselves to disappear. We cannot allow ourselves to be irrelevant. We have to adapt to the changing time. And this e-litigation project is one such way of adapting to those changes. And the cliche change is constant is not just a cliche, it is factual. And we have to ensure that we change with the changing time. And the changes are for the better. This new initiative just bolster the other initiatives that were implemented by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court.
Meanwhile, Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Justice Mario Michel, further explained how the e-litigation portal can be utilized by lawyers.
These have real-time access to all documents filed in their case, as well as to any notices or orders that may be issued by the court. The introduction of the e-litigation portal has also streamlined the service of documents on parties involved in the proceedings. Once the originating documents, such as a claim form or notice of appeal, are filed by the party instituting the court proceedings, along with the authorization code, the other party or parties to the proceedings have virtually immediate and unrestricted access to the portal.
The e-litigation portal project was initiated by former ECSC Chief Justice Dame Janice Pereira. With the introduction of the e-litigation portal for the High Court and Magistracy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the SVG Bar Association is optimistic that the vulnerable in SVG can expect to benefit from it. Speaking at the launch of the e-litigation portal, Vice President Maurice Franklin stated that getting on the digital bandwagon is long overdue.
We hope that the e-litigation would over time not only bring greater efficiency to the administrative side of litigation, but also enhance the access to justice for our most vulnerable litigants. Knowledge and understanding of technology in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is pretty good. Therefore, we ought not to be too concerned about the transition from the manual paper process way of doing things and to one that integrates and embraces the digital age of our court system.
The SVG Bar Association Vice President mentioned that there are many benefits to be derived from such an initiative, including reduced costs for clients and improved efficiency for lawyers.
Access to lodging documents with the court can be done beyond the usual office hours, including weekends and public holidays, helps to create work efficiency. The e-litigation portal for the Magistrates Court and the Criminal Division of the High Court increases the cost effectiveness and deepens our environmentally friendly ways of doing business. It would reduce the cost to the client and reduce our environmental footprint through our reduced use of paper, ink, staples, and stamps. It would also reduce the work stress in the sense that many times a lot of us are feverishly trotting across to the court to secure timely filing, and that would soon be a distant memory. At the same time, however, the running or brisk walking to the court does provide much needed exercise, and so we may soon have to ensure that our employees have walk breaks to maintain their health at work. We are in a sedentary profession.
Meanwhile, Franklin highlighted the poor internet connectivity provided by one of the internet providers in SVG, noting that this is a challenge that must be addressed.
Implementing a welcome process within an inefficient, irritating internet connectivity from Flow, our main internet provider, and too often the flow of work is disrupted by drops in connectivity, and yet the service provider continues to increase the cost of service. The legal minds of this country need to take a closer look at the circumstances of this bad value for money experience. The question is, are we getting what we signed up for? This issue is not one that sits at the lap of our esteemed court, but with the corporate giant. Putting aside the shortcomings outside of the court's control, we are truly excited and congratulate the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in achieving this Herculean task of bringing the St. Vincent and the Grenadines jurisdiction into the 21st century of doing business.
The 18th Caribbean Week of Agriculture will be held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from October 6th to 11th, 2024. The event was launched today virtually and is supported by CARICOM. Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM, Joseph Cox, outlined some of the activities to be held, which include wide participation by all stakeholders.
CWA 2024, made up of workshops, trade exhibitions, and field visits, will allow for insightful discussions, knowledge sharing, the forging of new partnerships, and the showcasing of the latest innovations and strategies in climate-smart agriculture. The week will also host special meetings such as a high-level ministerial high-level ministerial meetings, the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute (CARDI) Board of Governors meeting, the meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Agriculture Ministers, and the Caribbean Agricultural Health and Food Safety Agency (CAFSA) Board of Directors meeting. Additionally, the event will award the CARICOM Farmer of the Year and the Ministers of Agriculture CARICOM Young Farmer of the Year.
The president of the Agriculture Alliance of the Caribbean sees the week of activities pushing the agriculture sector across the region in having a unified voice in addressing current challenges.
Caribbean regional farmers, in conjunction with other stakeholders, have issued a call to action. We must do our part. We must make a serious and intentional attempt towards finding solutions to climate action and subsequently food sovereignty. Farmers have concluded that they must figure out how to work together. Farmers caution other farmers and food producers that working in silos have not provided the results. The clarion call from farmers and food producers is, let's get together. Let's communicate. Let's collaborate. And let's cooperate. Let's combine expertise, knowledge, and resources for the good of all.
Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar said there is time to prepare for the week of activities, and it is worth celebrating farmers and other stakeholders.
Our region is food secured because we have farmers who on a morning will go to work very early, whether it's hot or whether it is raining. We have fishers who will brace the boisterous seas to ensure that we have food and nutrition security in our member states. We must celebrate the work of our agro-processors who are adding value to the primary commodities that we are producing here in our region. So CWA 2024, we're asking you to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to celebrate the efforts of our technicians and our policymakers as we lift our game to ensure that food is always available, affordable, and accessible.
The theme for the Caribbean Agriculture Week is Climate Smart Agriculture for a Sustainable Future. With this in mind, the Minister is hopeful that the climate change issues will be adequately addressed.
There's a fierce urgency of now, and CWA 2024 is definitely a call to action. We will be bringing together stakeholders, not from only the Caribbean region, but stakeholders globally. Because whilst we are working on an indigenous solution to some of the problems that we are facing, we are part of a global framework. Let us make Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2024 a transformative experience through continuing work, exchange of knowledge, and networking among stakeholders and member states within CARICOM.
With warmer than usual day and nighttime temperatures anticipated with the possibility of episodes of excessive heat during the upcoming months, as reported by the SVG Met Office, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is advising Vincentians, especially children, elderly persons with pre-existing conditions, pregnant women, construction workers, and people who generally work outdoors to take all the precautionary measures to beat the heat. Saharan dust episodes are also expected to become frequent. The ministry says attention should be placed on monitoring updates to reduce the risk of exacerbation of respiratory illness in susceptible persons. The Ministry of Health is offering a few reminders and tips that can help you beat the heat. Stay hydrated. The more we sweat, the more water our bodies will need. Drinking water, coconut water, and unsweetened beverages before you get thirsty can keep you ahead of the low energy feeling caused by dehydration. Avoid sweetened, sugary, and alcoholic drinks like beers and sodas, which can actually cause dehydration. Wear light-colored, loose-fitting, preferably cotton clothing. If your dress code permits, dark synthetic clothing can actually absorb heat and make it harder for the body to stay cool. Keep doors and windows open where possible. This would allow cooling breezes to flow in and hot air to rise out. Reduce outdoor physical activity, including exercising during the hottest periods of the day. Plan your outdoor activities for the cooler time, like early morning and late afternoon hours if possible. If you must go outside, walk in the shade. Use broad-brimmed hats or umbrellas and apply sunscreen with an SPF of 50 or more. The ministry says it will continue to monitor the situation closely and update the public accordingly. As St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to host matches for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024, today marks the second match day featuring the first night match at the Arnisville Sporting Complex. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is reminding the public of the traffic arrangements in place for the duration of the World Cup matches being held here. In a virtual interview on NBC Radio, Traffic Highlights Constable Rick Hunt explained that the portion of road heading towards the Arnisville Sporting Complex and the tarmac will be closed to all vehicular traffic between the hours of 1 p.m. to 2 a.m. on match days.
Persons who wishes to view the game and is entering from the countryside, they will enter in the area of Option Supermarket, and then they will make a right turn onto the northern side of the tarmac, where police officers who will be placed there will direct them how to park accordingly. For persons who are coming from the Mesopotamia Valley, Belair, Gumi, and surrounding areas, they will enter at the gate opposite Siki Graves Supermarket, and upon doing so, they will make a left turn onto the northern side of the tarmac, where police officers will direct them as to park. For persons who are coming from Kingstown and the leeward side of the island, they will enter through the regular route that is in the area of VJs, affectionately known as the Moon. They will come around on the tarmac and they will make a left turn where police officers will direct them as to how to park accordingly.
While encouraging persons to support the games, Constable Hunt advised patrons to adhere to the directions given by police officers who will be in strategic areas to ensure the smooth flow of traffic.
More so, to the patrons who are coming, please adhere to all directions given to you by the police officer who would be placed there to ensure the free flow of traffic and to ensure that everything goes smoothly according to plan as it pertains to the traffic, so that we all can have a safe and enjoyable game.
From 7:30 p.m., South Africa will take on Nepal at the Arnisvale playing field. St. Vincent and the Grenadines today joined countries around the world in observing World Blood Donor Day under the theme 20 years of celebrating, giving, thank you donors. World Blood Donor Day seeks to raise awareness of the need for safe blood and blood products and to thank voluntary unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gifts of blood. In an interview on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program today, Head of the Laboratory Services Program in the Ministry of Health, Elliot Samuel, encouraged people to become voluntary blood donors. Samuel added that a vast majority of people in St. Vincent and the region tend to respond to requests for blood when there is an emergency need for a family member or friend. However, efforts must be made to foster a culture of becoming voluntary donors.
If you're interested in becoming a voluntary blood donor, of course, we're going to add your name to our database. We're going to collect your personal information so we can reach out to you when there is a need. But we want to extend our pool of voluntary donors. And the reason why we want to do that, because we want to ensure that the blood that we are giving to our population, to Vincentians, is safe and is healthy. There's a lot of unknown as it relates to blood transfusion. We perform a comprehensive and an extensive assessment to uncover and to rule out any transfusion transmittable diseases. But still, there's a lot of unknown. And one of the ways to control it is to have a group of people that you know that you're following for a while, that you understand. Hence our call to have Vincentians become voluntary donors. And you never know when you yourself or any immediate family member is going to need. I think the way things are now, the scale is a little unbalanced, where we have more replacement than voluntary, and the direction that we really want to go in is where we have a larger pool of voluntary donors. Reduce the cry when there is an unfortunate incident or ailment, and we have to be reaching out to the public to ask for persons to come in to give. We can just reach out to our voluntary pool of blood donors.
Noting that blood is a therapeutic agent, Samuel explains that 1 unit of blood can help up to 5 people.
What Miss Graves has said, we have to understand that blood is a therapeutic, just like any other medicines in the pharmaceutical industry. Mm-hmm. The thing about blood, I mean, once upon a time we used to say that you can't make it, but you can make it now. There's synthetic blood, but it's very expensive. And because it's a therapeutic and it's difficult to make, it's very expensive, the only access we have to it is through voluntary donation. A single unit of blood can actually help, I would say 4 or 5 persons, because from that 1 unit of what we call whole blood, now we can actually go and do what is called component therapy, and we can extract platelets from that blood, and platelets can help persons who are having bleeding issues related to low platelets. We can extract plasma, fresh frozen plasma and stored plasma. That can go to help persons who are burn victims, persons who are having issues with coagulation.
Staff nurse Rachel Graves, who was also on the program, outlined the activities in SVG to commemorate World Blood Donor Day 2024.
Okay, so today we have Appreciation Day for our donors. We have approximately 65 regular voluntary donors, so we have some appreciation process going on. We have a certificate of appreciation, some at our other branch in Georgetown, because we have 2 branches, one at Georgetown as well. They will be participating in the Donors Appreciation Day. We have some key holders, some snack box and such like for the donors.
The 20th anniversary of World Blood Donor Day is seen as not only an excellent and timely opportunity to thank blood donors across the world for their life-saving donations over the years, but also as a timely occasion to address continued challenges and accelerate progress towards a future where safe blood transfusion is universally accessible. Once eligible for blood donation, people can donate every 3 months at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital Blood Bank. A concerned father is seeking the public's help in locating his missing son, Glenrick Edwards. Earlier this week, the police reported the 31-year-old teacher from Diamond missing and said he was last seen in Barley. A subsequent bulletin stated he was found. However, his family reached out to SVG-TV News today and clarified that Edwards is still missing and that they have been searching everywhere for him.
This has been a very stressful situation. He doesn't actually live with me. He lives with his mother. But when things like this happen, then they'll call me and we will all try to find him together. But this time I have no idea as to what's happening. But it is a difficult situation. Very uncertain moments at this time. He's suffering from that sort of condition. The diagnosis that I got from Dr. Providence is that he's bipolar. He went to the boys' grammar school, spent some years there, got his O-levels, and then he got into part-time teaching, on a year's program, and eventually got to go and do a program in Barbados at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic. He did plumbing. So he's now back here and he's doing plumbing at the Georgetown Technical Institute. Mm-hmm. So that's where he is now. Well, this has not been the fourth occasion that we had to go and look for him. So what we do is that we go to places that we would have found him before to see where we would have thing. So that is what we would have done. We'd have gone to these places, we asked around, and we listen out.
Noting that he last saw his son on Tuesday, June 4th at the Georgetown Technical Institute, where he is a part-time teacher in plumbing, Brong said they are very concerned about his whereabouts, noting that even though he was diagnosed about 3 years ago with bipolar, he's very intelligent and quiet.
I personally feel it's something else that may have triggered his condition. What it is, I don't know. But no, I cannot say. And he's a very, very, very quiet person. And you ask him and he wouldn't answer those things. Well, I would have checked around Lanley, Georgetown area. I check around the area that I live here, which is New Bronx, and a couple of communities in between. Actually, I would just drive to the back roads and so on and so forth. But one of the things I can say to you is that sometimes he's right in that area and you're looking for him and you don't see him. People tell you, well, I see him there and I see him there, but we who are looking for him, we don't see him until, I don't know, maybe it's when he is like freaking out, like very tired and maybe very hungry. So you will find him somewhere, On Tuesdays and Thursdays, he lives down at Diamond with his mother. So I will pick him up and take him down to Diamond after the program, drop him off home, and then I come back to New Bronx. So I saw him, the last time for the program would have been, Tuesday, but the program would have continued at Thursday, but he wasn't there. Had I seen anything there, I would have contacted the doctor, but I didn't see anything that warranted that.
The concerned father is appealing to members of the public, if they have information regarding his son's whereabouts, to contact the nearest police station or the officer in charge of the Eastern Division at 784-458-6229. That's 458-6229. Edwards has been missing for 10 days now. The Carnival Development Corporation, CDC, has released the list of Calypsonians who will be going forward into the semi-finals, scheduled for Friday, June 28th at the Victoria Park. The picks from the Graduates Calypso tent are Johnny Rebel, Maxwell Tajo Francis, Kingsley Hero Roberts, Glenroy Homie Delpesh, Felicia Nubian Empress, Alexander, and Abuza Cyrus. On the on-tour Calypso 10 semi-finalists are Alvin Zionai Denny, Marvo Morgan, Robert Patches King, Elvis Abijah Abbey, Glenford Azara Charles, Hilton Duncan, and Kirk Ninja Knights. The upstage semi-finalists are Divine Sky Haksha, Omani Cupid, Sheena Collis, Cecile Lilibit King, Rayon Madzard Primus, Gosnell GC Cupid, and Michael Lord Have Mercy Oliver. The Dynamite semi-finalists are Delahante Isles and Dennis Bowman. The reserves for the semi-finals are Earl Exposer, Isles, and Kosinski Buster Ski Adams. These Calypsonians are invited to meet with representatives of the CDC and other officials on Monday the 17th June at 5:30 p.m. at the Media Center in Victoria Park. Representatives from the two bands, Next Level and the Festival Band, are also asked to be in attendance. The contestants who will be participating in this year's Miss SVG pageant will be unveiled tomorrow evening at a ceremony to be hosted by the Beauty Shows Committee, the BSC, of the Carnival Development Corporation at the La View Boutique Hotel. The ceremony, which will begin at 8 p.m., will also see the major announcement of the pageant's first title sponsor. The pageant, which carries the theme A Royal Dream, will be held on October 5th, 2024. Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Avia Charles, said in the third year of her committee managing the pageant, they have seen significant interest, not only from prospective contestants, but also corporate St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Charles said this year, the committee has been able to accomplish some major feats and has built partnerships which will be announced on the night of the unveiling. She also stated that they are excited about the significant progress and enthusiasm the contestants have shown. Furthermore, for the first time since its inception, the unveiling will be a ticketed event. The unveiling ceremony will be hosted by Miss SVG 2022, Jada Ross, and will be addressed by Minister of Tourism and Culture, Carlos James, Chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation, Ricardo Adams, Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Avia Charles, and Miss SVG 2023, Arena Foy.